afternoon, South Africa, and a really warm and wet and rainy welcome to you on Afternoon Express this morning. So basically, what's happened today in the weather is that there's snow in major parts of South Africa. A tornado has just touched down in Mtshali-Hadebe. One has been spotted somewhere in Gauteng. And Cape Town looks like Mordor because it's just raining everywhere.
And you're basically
highways are flooding.
You're defying the weather.
Our loft is basically full summer. I mean, you can get a tan in here if you wanted to.
Welcome indeed. I'm Bonnie Mbuli. Today on Afternoon Express, we catch up with the Revlon Love Squad and we chat to blogger Cynthia Gxowa about what love means to her. And for Winner Home on Afternoon Express, our design contestants get introduced to their new challenge. And of course, if you would like to, before I say that, who's our guest today? Our very special guest.
No. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I'm so excited because, of course, the Rio Olympics kicks off on the 5th of August. And in celebrating that, we have got my favourite Olympian of all time, Penny Haynes, in the loft, and we're going to have such an amazing time with her. I'm so proud and so honoured to have her here with us today. And she's joining the SABC family because she's going to be commentating at the Rio Olympics. Cannot wait for that.
Can't wait. And of course, if you have any questions for her, tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, or comment on our Facebook page, or call in at 0839133728. Penny Haynes is still the only woman to have won both the 100 metres and the 200 metre breaststroke at the same Olympics. And in 1999, she went on to break the record for 50 metres breaststroke at the Pan-Pacific Swimming Championships in Australia. Her achievements are a testimony to the grueling discipline, self-sacrifice and public acclaim that comes with a career in the sporting spotlight.
From the gun, she's going to try to set a new world mark.
You're just so strong in the water. You can't take anything away from that strength. She has so much kick behind her too. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Remember, breaststroke is predominantly a lower body stroke. She really accelerates those legs behind her, has good upper body motion, always going forward.
She's looking good. And the crowd lets it go. She does it. 30.83 seconds, over a half a second.
Welcome, Penny Haynes. Now, that was footage from the Pan Pacifics.
That's right.
Now, to anyone else who was watching that, who didn't understand swimming or hasn't been following your career, they would go, oh, that did look like a tough race, because you're the only one in the swimming pool. But I mean, you were beating your own world record there. That's why you're the only person in the swimming pool.
Correct. Up until 2001, the World Championships was only every 4 years. And so Pan-Pacs, which basically was the whole world except some of the European countries, would compete every 4 years as well, actually. And 99 was that year. I'd come off a spree of world records already, and at the competition also competed against others, but against my own world records, and in the 100 and 200 improved it. And so someone challenged me and said, why don't you time trial the 50? It only officially became a world champion event, championships event in 2001. So I gave it a bash, and somehow that's the only footage on the internet. It shows you how long ago that was.
Wow. And you started your career really young. I think you were 17, if I'm not mistaken.
I was, in terms of international careers. That was the first time South Africa was going back to the Olympics, 92. And I was the baby on the entire team.
And you moved to America to a swim school. Tell us about that period of your life.
Well, I saw it as an opportunity. It's not something I wanted to do, coming off of Barcelona, which was very disappointing, 33rd and 34th, close to last place. But I had been offered a scholarship to the United States, and despite how I felt, I chose to go. And while I was there, that's really where I think my true talent was developed. I was exposed to international competition in the sense that the US system allows you to compete against top swimmers from around the world very frequently. And personally, I believe, had I not gone, I wouldn't have achieved what I did.
Wow. How grueling is just training for Olympics? And also, you mentioned that swimming is quite a lonely sport because you don't have teammates and you spend a lot of time alone in the water.
I think training for the Olympics, lots of people will give you different feedback. For me personally, it was on average 9 workouts a week, about 6 Ks a workout, which is not a lot. I mean, if you spoke to when Rake did distance training, when he used to be a distance swimmer before he sprinted, they do a lot more. But I think today's training is shifting towards more race-type training. And Sorry, I forgot what you actually asked me.
No, but I'm actually, you know, Bonnie and I were busy doing show preparation before the show and reading through all of your stories and everything you've gone through. She actually said it's almost sounded like you were a reluctant hero because you had to do so much work. It's such a lonely, isolating world. You were so good at something and yet it's almost like it chose you. You didn't necessarily want to do it. It reminded me of Andre Agassi, who said, you know, he doesn't want to do tennis, but he's too good not to do it, so he's got to compete. So what was it like for you then? At 17 years old, you know, you're being thrown into these competitions and Olympics and you've got to be so competitive at such a young age. It must be quite isolating and quite traumatizing almost, as much as it's quite enjoyable.
I think it was the move to America, the cold weather, that was traumatizing. No, but seriously, I think my approach was always... I didn't swim because I wanted to go to the Olympics or anything like that. I mean, back when I started out, South Africa wasn't going to the Olympics. In fact, when we were told we're going to Barcelona, I really didn't believe it would happen. And so even the experience in Barcelona, as I said, wasn't that positive. But in looking back, it lay a good foundation for me in my preparation for Atlanta. I knew what was coming. As far as isolation goes and being a lonely sport, definitely it is. You're swimming up and down a black line. You're left alone to your own thoughts. Of course, you do have teammates training with you, but I just felt, for me, it was something that suited me. I'm a very analytical person, and I think to be really good at anything in life, you've got to be there in the moment. And so I struggle to relate to the team sports thing, but I suppose they would struggle to relate to the individual sport.
You sound like you're a very self-motivated person as well. And you mentioned that when you swam, you took to counting your strokes or even singing songs.
What did you say?
No, I'm not singing. I counted my strokes. No, I think, you know, when I first went to America, I was very, very homesick. I was in Nebraska, minus 20 Celsius, actually flying into...
Oh, well, that's why if you were in New York, you would have had a great time in Nebraska.
No, it was cold. And so I had to find, after about 3 months of crying in my goggles, hating swimming, I realised I've got to find a way to either make it work or go home. And I realised, you know, I'm busy up and down the black line thinking about I wish I was home and feeling sorry for myself instead of focusing on what I can do. And I always believe that success is just the reflection of excellence in the details. You know, you have to be in the moment. And so that's where this whole thing of counting my strokes began. Because if I'm counting my strokes, I've got to focus on what I'm doing right now. And that became a habit. Eventually, I knew exactly how many strokes I'd take in a 100-metre race. And to give you an idea, in swimming terms, 24 strokes down the first 50, 27 back in 96. 3 years later, it was 20 down, 24 back. Which obviously the time's only improved by, it takes 3 years to improve half a second, but it gives you control over the race as well. And that's why
you mentally in it. So now let's take you to Atlanta. I mean, you just cleaned up. That must have been such an amazing feeling for you. And basically we read that you won both the golds, but after your first race, you were standing on the podium, and then instead of feeling all that elation and all that excitement, you were a bit despondent and a bit sad.
Lots of mixed feelings. I think firstly in the morning, my goal had been leading into the Olympics to try and improve my own time, which was a world record. So in the morning I set a world record, slightly slower than I'd hoped for. And then the evening, of course, I would like to do that again. And I got slightly slower than my world record. I made a few mistakes in the final. So now it's time for the podium, and I'm standing on the podium. First of all, where we were standing, when they announced it, there was like a bit of an echo, so I couldn't really hear, and I started hearing the crowd applaud, and so I got up on the podium before they actually mentioned my name. So now I'm standing there feeling like an idiot. Then they're playing the anthem, and of course it was pretty new. I'd been in the States the whole time, so now I'm standing there watching the flag go up, and I want to put my hand on, I don't know what to do. Should I put my hand on? And at the same time I'm thinking about Samantha Riley, the Australian rival that I had. She was she held the world record prior to me, and someone that was probably the closest to a hero that I had in swimming. And nobody expected the little American to come along. So I felt really bad for Sam. I'd hoped that either she would win or get at least a silver, because, you know, if you look at the times at that stage, she was the second fastest time ever. So I felt a bit sad.
Did it take you a while to own that you were the champion?
Yeah, I think so. In all honesty, I didn't realize at the Olympics what had happened. I didn't know no one had ever done the 200 as well. If I'd known that fact, I might not have done it. In fact, 3 days before the Olympics, my coach said, "What are you going to do in the 200? And I said, I haven't thought about the 200. Maybe I'll go for a medal." And then I sat on my own. I thought, wait, I'm in the best shape of my life. I better go for it. But I really didn't think the 200 was my race. In fact, I only learned to swim the 200 3 years later, I'd say.
Sure.
I went all out, hope no one catches me kind of thing.
You are my absolute hero. I want to chat more about this, so we're going to come back to you a little bit later, and we'll be back with Penny more after the break. So if you have any questions for her, then head over to social media, tweet us at Afternoon Chat using hashtag Afternoon Express, comment on our Facebook page, or call us live on 083 913 3728. Penny Haynes live in our loft. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. If you've just joined us, we're spending the afternoon with former South African swimmer Penny Haynes,
who's my absolute favourite Olympian and hero. But it's so fascinating, like almost getting into your head and finding out what you're going through, especially in the Atlanta Olympics. Like when you're saying if you had known the impact of what it would have been to also do the 200 and win, you might not have done it. How come? How much? I mean, how much did it impact your life?
I would have swum it, but I don't think the focus would have been the way it was.
Yeah.
How did it impact my life? I think it was unexpected to have the 200 as well. There was a little bit of an idea that, you know, if I saw my best time in 100, it could happen. But I think it was also helpful to have Marianne win the bronze and Ezekiel the silver, and then, of course, the highlight was Josiah winning the gold in the marathon. So when we came back home, I really didn't know what to expect, because I'd been out of the country before all the changes happened, since before that. And, of course, Josiah being an African and myself, I'm on the flight and I'm thinking, is there going to be this polarized reaction when we get home? I really wasn't sure, and it was overwhelming. It was amazing how the whole country came together and everyone was so happy.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And, of course, I think that I've often been asked, you know, how does it feel if people come up to you and all this stuff? And I always say, you know what, it's... I love it when African people come up to me, because they're expressive. They're not shy. Whatever's on their mind, they say immediately, and it's out there. If you talk, no offense, but to Afrikaans people, they're very, very subdued and withdrawn. Maybe they're not so forward, but yet you see them staring at you from away, and you guys know what it's like. And now you don't know, are you looking funny? You know, is there something in my teeth, or do they recognize you? So,
sometimes you forget that you're actually recognizable, and you're like, why is everyone staring at me?
Yeah, I'm looking behind me.
So prior to the Atlanta Olympics, you say that you visualized the race over 100 times and for a period of 3 months. Take us through that visualization process and what it did to your mind, because you now give mental power seminars.
Yes. I think we just to lay a foundation. 2 years prior to the Olympics, I had disappointing swims in Rio at the World Champs. Had to make a decision. Sorry, not Rio, Rome. Had to make a decision if I'm going to continue, and had to have a plan. And part of the plan was that in 2 years' time, I would swim a certain time, which happened to be the world record at our Olympic trials. Having done that now, I was going into the Olympics as the world record holder, and I knew, given my experience in Barcelona, how bad it was, I needed to do something to ensure that I'm going to be together mentally. And so every single day after training, I'd sit down next to the pool, and I would visualize, first of all, just the morning. How am I going to warm up? After warming up, I'm going to warm up a second time, all of those details. And then just quickly, I obviously go into this in more detail when I do the seminars, but then basically from the marshalling area right through to behind the blocks, details like I'd put down a towel and jump up and down on the towel, because I knew if I jump up and down without putting the towel down, I might slip and fall on my butt in front of 15,000 people. So that detail. Then I'd visualize in detail now, going down, taking my marks, diving in, counting before the pull down, before the pull out, 24 strokes. And I'd be sitting there virtually swimming the race with my eyes closed. And so what's happening is, so I'd swim 24 strokes down, 27 back. My coach used to time it sometimes. And at the end of the day, when I swam at the Olympics, it was within 1/10 of the time we visualized. A little bit slower than what I'd visualized. And the detail, I think, is important, because you're tricking your brain into believing you're really doing this action. And so you're forming neurological pathways. And so that's why I say by the time I swam the race, physiologically, it was just a matter of doing what my brain had already done over 100 times. So it's important to see yourself as though you're in the race, as opposed to watching it like a video. Speak to yourself. I'm counting the strokes. I'm hearing. Okay, so I'm going through all the senses. I'm feeling as I'm swimming, as I'm doing it. And then, as a bonus, I'm sitting next to a pool indoors, so I'm sniffing chlorine. Amazing. And so I'm engaging all of the senses, and that becomes more and more real. And there's lots of scientific studies on this. At the time, I actually didn't know all the science behind it.
You didn't know what you were doing?
I had a gut feel. But a lot of people, when I do swim clinics as well, I ask them, you know, when do you visualize? Well, I get up on the block and then I imagine myself touching first. You don't know if you're going to touch first. Why are you wasting time doing that? I heard someone say, actually in a beauty pageant situation, she visualized herself getting the crown. And I thought to myself, that's nice, but you're not going to get the medal or the crown or win or a record if you're visualizing the end. You've got to go through moment by moment. Again, excellence in the details. And if you do that well, the sum total of that could be success.
Amazing.
Wow. And this is obviously what you teach at your seminars. It's amazing.
Have you been in touch with any of the young Olympians going to Rio now to help them with that visualization?
Well, you know, politics and sport.
Okay.
I have, a few years ago, I did a talk to Swimming South Africa. Chad was among the guys, but this is before London. And of course, Cameron and those guys. The current crop of top South African swimmers, you know, they know what they're doing. And they're, you know, they're getting about their business.
Who should we keep our eye on?
Well, the obvious, Chad, Cameron.
Yeah.
I think the other boys in the team, there's always a surprise, hopefully, among them. Having said that, though, I think South Africa has to be realistic, and I think Chad and Cameron are. Both of them have said there's lots of other guys that are really good right now. Cameron said it's going to take a world record to win, which I agree with him.
Wow.
Chad, he's an awesome swimmer, great talent, but he's up against the greatest ever.
Sure.
And Michael in 2012 was not the same Michael we have today. He wasn't loving swimming, he wasn't motivated, he wasn't all together in his private life, and now he is. So,
He's a hero now,
you know, but he is a bit older too. So we'll have to see.
Wow, what a journey.
I'm so excited. And of course, Chad Leclerc's going through so much personally as well. Oh, I wish them so much luck. I'm going to leave you ladies here to chat. Please excuse me. Work has got to be done in the kitchen. In fact, I've got a meal fit for an Olympian to make. If you have any questions for Penny Haynes, please do visit our Facebook page at Afternoon Express. Almost forget the name of my own show. Otherwise, tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the official hashtag Afternoon Express. And of course, give us a call live on 083 913 3728. And then in the kitchen, we've got the lovely Kiara. We're making a dish fit for an Olympian because, by the way, we're cooking for Penny Haynes.
I know.
And then a little bit later, we're going to be making a cheat dish as well, which we're going to get to a little bit later.
Yes.
But first, what are we starting off with? I think a steak and...
Yes, so basically what we're doing, we are doing a quinoa pilaf, and then we're doing lamb chops. So we're keeping it simple and super healthy. The main thing is that the quinoa has got fiber in it and it's got protein. So it's like a low-carb thing that you can use.
Oh, amazing.
And it's over there. I can show you.
Okay, so what are we doing? We're cooking.
Okay, so we just started off. We took the lamb chops. Just oil your meat. Super, super hot pan. So we just started browning it off underneath there, salt and pepper. And the main thing is, don't put your salt on straight away. Put it on just before you're going to put it in the pan. Because it draws water and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and caramelized. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Then what?
So we're going to, you can just stand here, I'll show you.
Do I have to like turn the meat or something?
Yes. You can just turn those over for us. And you'll see there.
Okay.
See, it's super caramelized. Yeah, it's
I've
very
never actually made meat like this before.
Really?
I'm a braai girl.
Oh, that's good.
Well, when I say I've made it, I've asked somebody to make it.
Okay, but that still counts.
Okay, there you go. Looks delish. Love a good chop.
So the main thing about chops is that most people don't like it to be too rare. So you're looking at like 4.5 minutes on each side.
Yeah.
I mean, I like all my meat super pink and rare, but I know, if you're cooking for someone, always make sure that you ask them before.
Okay, so how is it going to be if it's 4 minutes aside? Medium?
Yes, medium. Okay. So it's not going to be that pink in the middle, which is totally fine.
Great.
Then what we've done here, I will explain to you right now. How delicious does that look?
No, this looks super healthy and amazing.
So quinoa normally takes about 30 to 40 minutes to cook if you're going to cook on the stove. So what we've done is we've cut the time and we've done it in the oven. So traditionally pilaf is made with rice. So we've changed it up and made it with quinoa, obviously to make it more healthy.
Okay, what's it called?
Pilaf.
Pilaf?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, let's get our thingy on there and that, and you're going to teach me how to make pilaf.
Yes. So
pilaf.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so we basically just taken, you need to have a base to start with, so that's going to be the stock. So use chicken stock.
In a pot, or what are we doing? Okay.
No, we've done it in there already. So everything,
already.
I'm just explaining to you what we've done.
Okay.
Just so it's super easy. We've chopped these up.
Yeah.
So we choose the dry fruit just to give it a bit of sweetness, a little bit of sugar.
Yeah.
So we got pears and we've got apricots.
Yeah.
Chop that up, put it in a pan. Then I put in chicken stock, and then we've put in spices. So I've used bay leaves, you can use rosemary. I think make it your own. Okay. Choose what you want to have. Like, if you really like thyme, add that.
Yeah.
The more spices, the better. Like, go mad.
Okay, but like when you say do whatever, I mean, I would need a guideline. So
yes.
You've got thyme, rosemary, bay leaves.
Yes.
Okay. Garlic, onion.
So we use
just everything in a pot.
Yes.
That's
so we
all
use red onion because it's sweeter, and then a few cloves of garlic just crushed and sliced, and you put that into the pan. Let it simmer for like 5-10 minutes. Then put it in an oven for 15 minutes. Cover with foil. So much easier and quicker, yes.
This is basically the easiest thing we've ever made on Afternoon Express because I don't have to do anything. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We're going to play?
Yes.
So let me pass you your pilau.
Thank you so much. We've got this beautiful big plate here.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you're cooking any kind of meat, you always need to let meat rest. So we've got these ones sitting here. We're going to take those off now. I'll give you a board so you can put those on.
That's already been there for the 8 minutes.
You
okay. Don't know how to turn this off.
No, that's perfect. Yep. Thank you. You can just let them, We've let these ones rest a little bit. The main thing about meat is that when you let it rest, all the juices relax and the meat becomes super tender and beautifully juicy. So I think that's the main thing.
Okay. All right. Organised.
Yes, very organised. And you can also choose, we've used, this is the rainbow quinoa. You can use just the red or just the white.
Does this change? Does the flavour change?
Not really. It's just a matter of more to do with the colour of it.
Amazing.
But I love doing anything with extra colour.
You are so good at this. I'm so impressed how easy this was.
But I think that's the thing. If you're making healthy food, it needs to be quick, easy, but like super tasty. I don't believe that you need to take all the flavour out.
If it's going in your mouth, it's got to be tasty.
It's got to be amazing.
That's how I feel about cooking. Or about other people's cooking.
So I'm just going to take these, just plate them on here. And then the other thing that I just finished it off with is a little bit of lemon. It's quite a Greek thing, actually.
Yeah. So just squeeze it.
So go for it. Squeeze as much lemon.
I've never thrown lemon on my meat before, but
really?
I'm hoping it's going to taste nice. I trust you.
I really like it. Good, I'm glad.
You really are quite good at that. Okay, there you go. I would give you an Olympic gold medal for this amazing dish. Well done, Kiara. And of course, you too can make this amazing, amazing meal. All you need to do is visit afternoonexpress.co.za for all of the details. Now, if you can stand the heat in the kitchen and want more of what our favourite chefs have to offer, make sure you get down to the Good Food and Wine Show in Johannesburg this weekend, where you can meet and maybe even cook along with chefs such as George Columbaris, Jay Something, Siba, and our very own Clem Pedro, who is a knockout because, well, I've eaten everything he's ever made here in the loft. Today we're giving away tickets to some very lucky viewers, but please note you have to be in the Johannesburg area this weekend to attend the show. SMS the word Express, your name and city to 33728, and you could be the winner. SMSs cost R1.50 each. T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Now, considering we've just made this incredible dish, fit for an Olympian, low carb, high in protein, super healthy, we've got to also look after Jeannie's winter cheat. So we are making the most delicious little treat, because everybody deserves one every now and then. Please explain to me. It's a chocolate chip brioche.
Yes. And then we've decided to put a drizzle on top as well, cinnamon drizzle, just to go a little bit extra sweet.
I mean, have you ever? We're going to be making that on the show a little bit later too. But first, over to Bonnie.
Sounds absolutely delicious. Now, the Revlon Love Squad are the ultimate team of beauty bloggers headed up by brand ambassador Nokwethemba. These beauty gurus have been handpicked by Revlon SA to share their love tips and makeup tricks right here on Afternoon Express every week. So stay tuned for more from South Africa's top beauty bloggers later on in the show.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, the Olympics kick off on the 5th of August, and while everyone is looking out for which athletes are going to bring home the gold, we thought we would highlight our personal favourites and our Olympic moments, because we can't say that they will win gold for sure. In fact, we've got no idea, but they've definitely won our hearts. And as far as cooking goes, I'm not winning a gold medal.
Yeah.
But at least
you'll win a
looked the
gold
part.
medal for pretending like it didn't hurt.
Exactly. So now we're going to have a look at some of our Olympic hotties.
Yeah. So first up, we've got Luca Dotto.
Yes, that was my choice.
Yes.
Hey, Luca is my... okay,
Italian stallion.
Okay, he's an Italian swimmer. He's a 100-metre freestyle Italian record holder. Now, he might not be the world's fastest, but let's be honest, no one is watching the clock when he races. I mean, didn't even know the clock was on.
The next one is yours as well.
Yes, David Oliver, hurdles. He's from the US of A.
He's gorgeous.
I mean, look at those arms, considering he works... Oh, no, hurdles, they work their arms as well. Yeah. Okay, now, he has a passion
how much
for...
we know about
it. He has a passion for DIY, and before he became a professional athlete, he actually used to work at a Home Depot store. So when he's off the track, he's got a little tool belt around himself, hammer, drill, my kind of man.
And the next one is my personal favourite, Chad Leclos. He's South African, obviously.
Leclos, that's how much you love him.
Well, Leclos. Yes, Miss Finger. Now, Chad swims 60 to 65 kilometres a week and up to 85 to 90 kilometres a week in hard training.
Oh, and he's amazing. He's got such a beautiful heart as well.
Hard worker. Yeah, and then, of course, Usain Bolt. He's a sprinter. He's Jamaican.
Yeah.
And in the Beijing
Olympics... me crazy, man.
In the Beijing Olympics in 2008, he scoffed down about 1,000 chicken nuggets in 10 days. That's about 4,700 calories worth of chicken nuggets every day. Yet he still managed to look like that.
I remember when I was in Jamaica, I saw this guy and I said to him, sorry, what time is it? And he looks at me and he goes... It be Tuesday, man. I was like, oh, I love Jamaica. Anyway, moving on to hot Olympians. One of my favourite, Cameron van der Berg. I mean, isn't he just... He's amazing. Have you seen what he looked like in the new Men's Health cover?
Tattoo.
Do yourself a favour, buy the new Men's Health. He's just amazing.
We're so shameless. We're making the Olympics all about looks.
After admitting to cheating during the London Olympics in 2012, stating that everybody does it, he then forced the International Swimming Federation to make the rules stricter. He's definitely one of the bad boys of Olympics. Imagine that, cheating and then going, oh, well, everybody else is doing
you
it.
love yourself a bad boy.
Yeah.
The next one is Matheus Santana. He's from Brazil, of course.
He makes me want to become
They all have wings on them.
Portuguese.
They all have some kind of wing. He's one of the youngest swimmers at the tender age of 20, which means he was born in 1996, which means that while Penny was winning gold medals, he was being born.
Penny, don't tell Penny that. She's not going to love that story.
Well, anyway, how do you know when it's love? Have you met your love match? The Revlon Love Squad are daring to answer our most intimate love questions as part of the Revlon Colour Stay campaign. Today we ask local beauty blogger Cynthia Gwebu, what does love feel like?
Like Olympic swimmers.
Love feels like butterflies. In the beginning, it feels like confusion. You're not sure if you are in love or if you are in lust yet. And then once you figure it out, love feels fulfilling. It feels complete. It feels wholesome. And it feels perfect.
Now, Cynthia and the rest of the Revlon Love Squad will be sharing their love tips and makeup tricks right here on Afternoon Express every Tuesday and Thursday, so stay tuned for that. So don't miss the ultimate girl's guide to love. For more, follow the campaign online, #LoveSquadSA. Love is on.
Okay, so we've actually put together a little quiz now for the Olympics, just so that we're fresh and prepared for Rio. And you're going to be the quiz master. And you're going to ask Bonnie and I some questions. This is going to be bad. This is going to be like Trivial Pursuit on the worst level for me.
And there's a time limit on this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm
with the answer you got to say.
Okay.
Okay. How many times have the Olympics been held in South America before 2016?
Just 0.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean...
One for Bonnie. Okay. Which sport makes its debut at the Olympics in 2016?
Pole dancing.
You wish. Then you would have been in the team.
Please give us clues.
Well, we should do quite well in it.
Soccer.
Debut. Hello.
Oh,
that means first time.
Rugby.
Yeah.
Really?
Which rugby?
7.
Yes, well done. 1 all.
I nearly said touch rugby.
No, that's the rugby I play.
Okay. Athletes in fencing events are good at what?
Sword fighting.
Balance.
Using swords. I don't know, can we give them that?
That's so obvious, though. What question is that?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Just make it a bit cryptic here.
How many players are there in beach volleyball team?
8. 6.
8.
Beach volleyball.
2.
4.
Yes, 2. I'm like setting
We just went 2, 4, 6, 8.
Okay, uh-oh. All right.
Aren't you supposed to give us a choice of 3 at least?
No, we're supposed to know all this. We're geniuses, remember?
Yes, you are. I was right.
Okay, I'll give you a choice of 3 now. Okay, but you've done well. Okay. Okay, I can't even say this word. Vinicius is the official Rio Olympics what? A, mascot. No, sorry, A, motto. B, mascot. C, logo.
Vinicius is the mascot.
Good. Well done.
What is Vinicius, Jeannie?
He's the little dude. There, that's Vinicius.
Wow.
Isn't he cute? He's a little.
Oh, you've been paying attention to that.
Okay, one more. Which athletes compete in a velodrome? A, indoor track cycling. B, mountain biking. C, road cycling.
That's cycling, where they go round and around.
Mountain.
In the velodrome.
Oh, that's musical artists, because everybody performs at the velodrome.
Okay, I think Jeannie got it. Yeah.
Yay!
Okay,
so
well, I did offer you the honors beforehand.
You did. I'm quite impressed.
Do I then get to wear your gold medal?
Yeah, but you can't go and get it yourself. That wouldn't be correct. I will give you a gold medal. You can't take it home, though. I'll be fetching it afterwards. Okay, well done. Now you got to sing the. Now you got to sing the anthem.
Nkosi sikeleli Africa. I'm really milking this moment.
You didn't know
very
came
good.
Well, the quiz doesn't stop here. Check out the poll on our Twitter page.
You know how many kids have kissed that medal, hey? Every weekend,
Many.
50.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the quiz doesn't end here. Check out our poll on our Twitter page at Afternoon Express for a bonus question. You only have 10 minutes to answer, so hurry up. We'll show you the results at the end of the show. After the break, it's time for Winner Home on Afternoon Express. And today, our design contestants are briefed on their final challenge. Ta-da-da! All of that after the break.
It's not called Winner Home for nothing. You, the viewer, can win one of 3 completed apartments at Valdevie Estate, valued at more than 3 million rand, by voting for your favorite design contestants' lounge on privateproperty.co.za. Winner Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.
Welcome back to your gold medal Olympic edition of Afternoon Express. Now, there's less than a month until the grand finale of Winner Home on Afternoon Express, and our Winner Home design contestants only have 1 room left to complete. Let's head over to Ark Interiors to find out more.
The next assignment is obviously the lounge space. It's an integral part of any home. It's one of the spaces where you will spend a lot of time with, by yourself as well as with friends and family. So it's important to remember that a lounge space is a multi-purpose space. Think about the orientation of the sofa. Think about the orientation of the TV as well, bearing in mind that it would obviously not be a good idea to face the TV towards direct sunlight. But at the same time, this is often a challenge when, trying to compromise on the best views. It's important to think of the lounge also as a transitional space between spaces. Remember that it's right next to the dining space, and obviously, it's a transitional space towards the bedroom. So think about how you're going to place furniture in the space. The second thing I also think is quite important is, think about, library storage for books. Think about audio-visual equipment. Think about speakers and, your TV location, your TV equipment. So be very, very careful how you place these items and how you design them into, to be a little more secluded and a little bit out of sight, as these can often complicate a design and could be quite unsightly.
Since the spaces are very compact, how does one incorporate the dining room into the lounge?
You're going to have to think very, very carefully how you do that. I would try and cater for at least a small sort of 2-seater eating arrangement where you could just break away and have breakfast. When you had more social environments, everybody could sit around the lounge, but I think I would like a slightly more formal eating arrangement.
What type of artworks would you say should we choose for the lounge?
I think art and decor is a very, very big part of interior design. I definitely would focus on 1 or 2 key ideas. I think it's also important not to clutter a space too much, but maybe just try and find one signature piece and then, look at rather doing some smaller objets around the space.
John, if you had to choose one bespoke furniture piece that would start a conversation in a lounge, what would it be?
I think for me it would definitely be a sort of feature occasional armchair. You know, for me it's one of those sort of little selfish pleasures of having a conversation piece or an armchair that you know, slightly more tongue-in-cheek, got a bit of attitude. You know, so that would definitely be one of the pieces for me.
Now, the lounge and dining area can be a very expensive part of the house to design and furnish. So let's take a look at our design contestants' budget projections. Rudolph has a total projected budget of 144,000 Rand, with his biggest expense being furniture and electronics. Mtshali has a total projected budget of 128,000 Rand, with 45,000 Rand on flooring. And Gxowa has a total projected budget of only 98,000 Rand, with 35,000 Rand going towards lighting alone. She must have had quite a bright idea. We follow our design contestants transform these beautiful apartments. We love sharing expert property advice with you at home. And Bonnie is now on the couch with a man who has a wealth of knowledge to share.
So most of us will stay in our current homes for a number of years before thinking of selling and looking for something new. In the time we spend in our home, we're looking for ways to increase the value so that when the time comes to sell, we get the most out of the transaction. We're joined again by Tim Akinusi, Head of Sales and Client Management at Nedbank Home Loans. Welcome back to the loft, Tim.
Thank you, Wani.
So Tim, what changes or upgrades can homeowners make to their homes to benefit the resale value?
Bonnie, there are quite a few changes that one can make, and I'll start off by saying that when they think about home improvements and enhancements, think about it from an investment standpoint and rather than it being a cost. Because when you upgrade your place, you should be looking at what sort of return you can get into the future. So that starts with things like as basic as when something is about to break or isn't working well, rather repair it, because the cost of replacing the entire item is actually a lot higher. And then, secondly, start looking at the functional areas of your house and look at how you are maintaining it and look at how effective it is in terms of its operation. And when you start to engage with anything to do with your house, always look at future trends. So you can rely on things like upgrading your geyser to a solar. You can rely on things like improving your energy-efficient lights. And just those basic things will help improve the value of the house in the long term.
Is there a systemic way of working through it? Because perhaps the temptation is to just do it all at once.
Absolutely, but the reality is that things do take time and things are costly. So you really do want to do it in phases, and as and when you see it going wrong, or as and when you feel like something needs to be upgraded, rather do it and not let things pile up. Because like anything in life, if you let it pile up, it gets a lot more complex and certainly a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And Tim, are there particular changes or upgrades people can make that eventually actually compromise the value of the home?
It's a good question, Bonnie, because sometimes it's often not what you do, it's what you don't do. So when you don't invest in functional areas such as your bathroom upgrades or your kitchen, then you will be compromising on the value of your house. But to your question specifically, if you take something like a spare bedroom and you turn it into a single-purpose area that cannot be converted in the future, then you limit its multi-purpose nature. So you need to make sure that you keep things as classic and as standard as possible. And in that way, you end up with a house that can transform and can continue to enhance its value in future.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. So make sure that your home is in tip-top shape when planning to sell in order for you to get the most out of the sale. Make the things that really matter happen with Nedbank. For more information, visit www.nedbank.co.za/home loans.
It's not called Win a Home for nothing. You, the viewer, can win one of the 3 completed apartments at Valdevie Estate, valued at over 3 million Rand, by voting for your favorite design contestant's kitchen on privateproperty.co.za. Win a Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. So today we made a dish fit for an Olympian, and it was the easiest thing I've ever made in the kitchen before because I actually didn't do anything other than injure myself.
Shame.
But now we're back in the kitchen making a very tasty treat. Kiara, I've just got to tell you, I've never seen a brioche this big before in my life. You know how to do cheat days, my girl.
I know.
That has got my name all over it.
I think if you're going to do it properly.
Exactly.
Go all out.
Exactly. And it's also chocolate chip. And okay,
yes.
let's get started immediately.
Okay, let's do this. We started this off here. So this is just our base here. We've got the yeast, the milk, the sugar, and the water.
Okay.
You have to leave it for around 15 minutes.
To rise?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Learning.
So you can see the little bubbles there. That's the easiest way to tell if your yeast is alive and ready to go. If it's not bubbling, throw it away. Don't use it. Because I have had that before, and then the bread just flops. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we just mix that a little bit, and then we're going to put in, I'm just going to open this quickly. So this is our flour and our salt. Okay. So we put that in.
The recipe is, of course, on the website as well, so that you don't have to panic. How much flour and how much salt did she throw in there? Visit afternoonexpress.co.za. All that information is there. Okay.
So we're just using the paddle just to mix it a little bit.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through the next few steps, because this is the crucial part of a brioche. This is what makes it an enriched dough. It's got the eggs and it's got the butter. Important to know that the butter must be room temperature. Because if it's not, it's going to go into your dough and it's going to have these globules of butter, which you don't want.
Okay.
Because then when it bakes, it's going to let off all that fat and it's really not nice.
Okay.
So from this stage, you add your eggs one at a time. You need to be very patient, which I've learned over time. Just relax, go with it.
Yeah.
One at a time. And then you do your butter in 4 stages.
In 4, so that you cut up in 4 different pieces.
Yes.
Go one, mix a little bit, then another one, mix a little bit. Okay, but now I like when a brioche is really quite moist. So can you throw in extra?
I wouldn't. The thing is with the brioche, it's like a science. You know, it's in between a bread and a cake. So stick to the recipe, very important. Otherwise, it's not going to come out how you want it.
I just want to have flair. Okay, then what's next?
Okay, so you put it in a greased bowl. You cover it. It must be in a warm area. So put it next to your stove. You know, you can leave it for 45 minutes or overnight.
Amazing.
Next day or after 45 minutes, this is what you will have.
Delish.
So you can see here, if you just take this little piece here, it's got a lot of stretch. So that's the gluten. It's developed nicely. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put the chocolate chips.
Yes.
Have you actually seen the size of these things? I mean, how beautiful is this?
Yeah, amazing. Look at that whole chocolate chip. Now you see it? How are you doing?
So now I'm just crushing this up. I've rolled it out a little bit. Just be gentle with the bread, because obviously it's got a lot of air in it. If you're very heavy with it, you're not going to have a nice, airy, beautiful...
No. Be very gentle with it.
Very. Treat it as if it's your child. Because that is the thing with bread. You've got to put your heart and soul into it, because if you don't, it won't come out.
Totally.
So you can put in as many chocolate chips as you want. I'm like, the more, the better.
I mean, I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
Because we need quite a few. Okay, then from there, what do we do?
So there, we're going to pick this piece up.
Yeah.
We're going to put that over so that it forms like a little sandwich.
Yeah.
And now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut these...
Oh, and then it gets packed like that.
Exactly.
You see, you would have lost me days ago.
I think once you see it, you realise how easy it is.
And then...
And then you're going to do this side.
To you.
You're going to do this side up. So when you pack it, you're going to see the chocolate chips, which is so nice.
Amazing. Pack.
Yes.
Pack. Okay. And then it grows to this size?
Well, you got to prove it. That's the most important thing. So now after we've put it in here, you can see here this is facing up. You'll let it brew for another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then...
But I don't want to let it brew. All I want to do is brew this one. Okay. So can I take it across?
We're just going to put on the icing quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just butter, icing sugar, cinnamon, and a little bit of milk. As I say, just to make it a little bit more sweet, we've just got to add that.
Salivating.
On top.
Amazing. And I'll go cut it at the table. Come with me. You're invited too to this party with our amazing chocolate chip brioche. Remember, afternoonexpress.co.za, you can make this too. I mean, look what I made you.
Wonderful. You're quite a wonder in that kitchen today.
I know. I'm one hot mess in that kitchen
So, Penny,
every day.
one of the questions that are coming up on social media a lot is, what are you up to now?
Currently, myself and my business partner do swim clinics, mostly up in Africa, with a strong focus on the mental aspects and then also the technique side of swimming. In addition to that, mental power seminars, brain-based learning development profile with the motivation aspect to it. And then I do corporate talks, you know, you guys know the gig, when those opportunities arise.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Thank you. We have a caller on the line. Hello. Howard. Hello, Howard.
What's your question or comment?
Penny, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Howard.
Yes, Penny. Was your mother a nursing sister?
Yes, she was, Howard.
Okay, here's my story.
Okay.
In 96, I was living in Winklescraig.
Yeah?
I watched you in the 100, and 5 minutes later I had a heart attack.
Oh.
Wow.
Hope it wasn't because of my long glide.
No, it was just that you see me, you were never going to stop there. But that was the 100. But then 10 minutes later, I'm in the middle of this heart attack. So I phoned Kingsway Clinic for an ambulance. And eventually they get me to the clinic. And 2 days later, I'm in intensive care when you're about to come on doing the 200.
Yeah.
Your mother says to me, I'll tell you what, I can't have you getting excited. We're going to watch it without the sound. So we watched you without the sound. I didn't have another heart attack, but I will never forget you.
Oh,
sweet. That's very lucky. Thank you so much for your call.
Story.
And thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Good luck. Are you you're going to be here? You're not going to travel to Rio?
No, I'm going to be here doing some commentating with the SABC
Amazing.
group. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming through.
So much.
We'll see you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Good night and happy eating. May I offer you anything to eat?
The hottest address on TV is Winner Home on Afternoon Express. Proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.
Another feel-good production.
Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and of course our fabulous episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share this video. We do love it when you express yourself.